Well, I'm so glad to see you here this morning at our annual meeting. I must confess that I have always enjoyed our business meetings. I know, but it's the one place where we get to recap and reflect all the things that we have done over the last year. It's the opportunity for us to celebrate our successes, to maybe be transparent about our challenges, and to look ahead. And so what I want to say this morning as I begin is that it has been quite a year for CSL. We have been through a lot of shifts. I'm pretty sure I enunciated that well. Well, where are you thinking? I really have been honored to be your Leadership Council Chair, and it's been wonderful to work with our executive team. I can't say enough about the camaraderie and the connection and the synergy that Reverend Michelle and Reverend Sonny and I have. And we are, in a sense, building this plane as we fly it, because we've been working together to really dive deep into what shared leadership means and to begin to redefine it for ourselves and for our organization. Before you, you see our purpose and our vision and our mission. And when I think about this theme of a grand rising, for me, it brings up an opportunity for us to decide who we want to be and how we want to show up as Science of Mind in the world. For some of us, our contribution is revealing the magnificence of our spirituality through providing spiritual tools for personal transformation, consciousness work. And to those of you who make that decision, thank you. For some of us, our contribution is working within our organization as stewards and volunteers to continue to grow our movement as a philosophy that works for everyone. Thank you. And still for some, it's creating opportunities to demonstrate how our spiritual philosophy can create both personal and global transformation through sacred activism. And I want to thank you. To evolve into a 21st century teaching that is relevant to today's world, we need all of it. We need consciousness work, we need systems work, and we need activist work. These priorities that some of us have, these ways of being, these ways of expressing our teaching, don't compete with each other. They complement each other and they support each other. And with that, I want to give you an overview of the Leadership Council's work this year. As you are well aware, as I am very well aware, we selected and hired a wonderful new executive director, Reverend Michelle Ariano. She brings with her a wealth of nonprofit experience. We also elected a new spiritual leader, Reverend Sonny Cantrell. And as our beloved Reverend Dr. David Alexander termed out as chair of the Leadership Council, I stepped in. And so, thank you. And the three of us have been working really well together, and we've been really taking the concept of shared leadership and moving it into action and practice. And I think that we've been doing it really well. But one of the things that I've really recognized as we move into shared leadership, there aren't a lot of books out there on shared leadership. It's a pretty innovative model that we have. And what I've noticed with Michelle and Sonny and myself is that we've had to be really generous with each other. And we've had to be transparent, and we've had to create that safe space to, trip up a little bit and then to celebrate our successes and everything in between. The other things that went on this year, we had that wonderful leadership shift, was that our Leadership Council met in person for the first time in over 5 years. So that's pretty amazing. And when we did meet, we met at our very own Camp Cedar Ridge. Yay. And one of the feedback that I got from all the Leadership Council members was how rich it was to be able to deepen our relationships, to be able to see each other, to hold each other, and to be with each other. And in that deepening, as we moved through the process, we looked at the values that are in our organizational design model. And these values were put together through a process, as I recall, that we did this in 2014, where we really worked with the field and collected the values that were most important to us and reached consensus around that. And the values are accountability, which includes open communication, financial health and prosperity, integrity, love, which includes community service, safety, compassion, and caring, spiritual living, which includes diversity and inclusion, education, transformation and evolution, creativity, and continuous improvement. And as looking at these values, we came up with a vision statement for the Leadership Council. Now, mind you, we weren't trying to change the vision statement for CSL. That's a world that works for everyone. But we came up with this vision statement that was very cogent to the work that the Leadership Council is doing. We had a lot of fun doing this, as I recall. And so that is, CSL is a multicultural, abundant organization grounded in love and sacred joy. Unified by our spiritual living principles, we promote awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. In love and service, the Leadership Council fosters collaboration using integrity, openness, awareness, and inclusion as our superpowers. And I think you can see our values in that, can't you? That we really integrated those values and came up with that guiding statement that carries us forward. Now, many of you might recognize this as the CSL organization chart from the ODM. Now, don't focus on all the fine print. It's changing because some of the committees have changed and some of the, there's been a little bit of reorganization in the home office staff and management as we've been right-sizing ourselves. But the thing I really want you to pay attention to is the circles within the circles within the circles. At the center, we have principle, God, Spirit, that guiding, grounding force that moves everything forward out of itself. And then we move into our spiritual practices, and those inform our field, which inform the Leadership Council, which inform the spiritual leader and the executive director and the executive team. And then the outer colorful ring is the home office international headquarters and the work that they're doing, supported by the committees and councils on the outside. And I bring this up for you because I think it's important for us to really get our head wrapped around this very innovative and creative model we have for shared leadership. I don't know that we really, you might be working on a committee or you might be on a connection call, and it's really hard to get the big picture. I want to talk a little bit about shared leadership. One of my favorite quotes: trust is the fruit of a relationship where you know you're loved. And in order for us to really move into true shared leadership, it takes trust. It takes building trust. It takes cultivating that trust and nourishing it. One of the things I've learned is that in addition to trust, shared leadership requires solid communication and accountability that's grounded in love. There have been times over the years where in our effort to create that beautiful shared leadership model, sometimes we have flattened our organization a little too much. And what happens is that we're sort of out here on the edges. I'll bring that other slide up in a minute, but we're out here on the edges and this one doesn't know what this one's doing. And so our opportunity as leaders in this organization is to begin to bring our focus back to that circles within circles within circles and how we support each other and can work together. It requires good systems for accountability and communication, and many of those systems have been tested through the leadership and staffing vacancies we've had over the last 3 years. Oh, and don't forget, we navigated a worldwide pandemic in the process as well. All right, there we go. Centers for Spiritual Living currently has 27 councils and committees that are accountable to the Leadership Council. And if we go back to that other slide, I just want to look at that for a minute and notice that all the councils and committees and home office headquarters, the executive team, they all funnel inward towards the Leadership Council, who is accountable to the field that is centered in spiritual practices and principles. And it's a two-way street. Not only are our committees and councils accountable to the Leadership Council and field, but the Leadership Council needs to understand and support the work of the committees while helping them understand the big picture, keeping them informed of the direction, available human and financial resources, and other activities that might complement or perhaps challenge some of the work that's happening at committee and council levels. In addition to this wildly innovative shared leadership model we also work with independent 501c3s. I have come to refer to them as our affiliated nonprofits. We have two standalone affiliated nonprofits. That's the Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation and Camp Cedar Ridge that operates our camp up in Oregon. Both of these organizations are 501c3s. They have their own leadership structure, they have their own board, they have their own staff, they have their own budget, their own income and their expenses. In addition to the archives and Camp Cedar Ridge, we have the Science of Mind Foundation. Now, the Science of Mind Foundation is a horse of a little bit of a different color because it is its own 501c3, but it's a special kind that's referred to as a supporting organization. And that organization is there to help promote long-term resources for CSL and its communities. And their board of directors, while they have their own budget for income and expenses, their board of directors consists of 3 Leadership Council members. And so we work together with our affiliated nonprofits. We work closely with them. We are more than kissing cousins. We're like sisters organizations. And all of us are grounded in Science of Mind and our principles. I want to talk a little bit. I have a whole presentation this afternoon to talk about our governing documents, but let's just plant a seed this morning, noticing that we have 3 documents that are our organizing documents that we go to for guidance. We have the ODM, the Organizational Design Model, which articulates our culture and our values. We have our bylaws, and that's where we get the rules, the processes, the things that are in alignment with US law. Yes, we work with other countries and we take that into account, but as a US organized nonprofit, we must abide by US laws, and the bylaws allow us to do that, and it also helps us to guide us in the various ways that we are in our committees and our elected officials. Our policy and procedure manual guides staff and volunteers just on specific processes, and we're going to talk a little bit more about our governing documents this afternoon. The other thing that we're doing is we have assembled a diverse representation of our organization that serve as a task force advising the strategic planning process, which we began last year. Our goal is to have a comprehensive 3-year plan by the end of 2024. And we're due, because our other strategic plan, let's just say it got a couple of curveballs as the pandemic rolled through our organization and the rest of the world. Looking ahead, We're going to continue to work with this shared leadership model to help reinforce and support our committees and councils and our leadership council as we work together as one organization supporting our mission, our vision, and our purpose. We will realize financial stability. I have great confidence in that as we move forward. We seem to have the right people in the right places now. We'll complete the strategic planning process collaboratively. We are, the Golden property is still listed, and so we intend to have that sold by the end of the year. And then we will look at updating our succession planning for our councils and our committees so that not only can we support the existing committee members, but we can make room for newness on those committees as well. In the next 2 to 3 years, we'll be reviewing and updating our affiliate agreements and revisiting the CSL values. It's been 10 years. And I know in the last 10 minutes or so, I've given you a lot of information, but it's my hope that you now have a good, solid overview of Centers for Spiritual Living and how it's structured and how we work together to do this process called shared leadership. I have a couple people that I need to thank, and that's your Leadership Council. None of this is possible without them. We work together very well, and it's been a good, solid group this year. I also want to thank our member council who does their utmost to really support the laity in our movement. Our practitioner council who is dedicated to the 2,000 or more practitioners in our movement. Please tell your practitioners about the gatherings that they have. They have gatherings once a month, they have gatherings once a year, and they're really there to support the practitioners in being their best at the practitioner work that they do. And our Ministers Council, who similarly support our ministers in our movement. All these councils have been instrumental in supporting the different sections of our organization. And then finally, I want to thank our nominating council, who does an amazing job to make sure that we have qualified and wonderful candidates for our election process. Thank you very much.